Long ago, deep in the fertile valleys of a land called Tingwei, lived a proud and harmonious people. Their days were bathed in the golden light of prosperity, and their hearts were full of gratitude for the bounty the earth provided. At their helm stood Fondifon, a man of rare wisdom and compassion, who ruled not with an iron fist, but with a heart that beat in rhythm with his people's hope and fears. Yet fate is often cruel to those who grow too comfortable. A terrible drought descended upon Tingwe like a slow choking hand. Crops withered into dust, rivers shrank to muddy trickles, and hunger gnawed at every home. Fondifon, heavy with the burden of his people's suffering, gathered his council and made a heart-wrenching decision. They would leave their ancestral home in search of new life, with songs of sorrow, mingling with prayers for strength. The Tingwe people packed their few remaining possessions. The elders leaned on their staffs, children clung to their mothers, and the warriors sharpened their spears, not for conquest, but for protection against the unknown. Guarded by Fondifon's unwavering spirit, they ventured into the wild, crossing dense forests where creatures watched from the shadows, crossed rivers and climbed mountains. Hunger, sickness, and fatigue claimed some along the way, but the dream of a new home kept the survivors moving. Like a fragile flame sheltered from the wild, months passed, then one misty dawn, they stumbled upon Bafuni, a land of lush fields, abundant rivers, and vibrant life. It was a paradise compared to the wasteland they had left behind. Here ruled Fon Atumban. Atumban, the son of Bafuni, greeted the people of Tingwe with apparent warmth and kindness. He was struck by the strength and health of the young men in the Tingwe tribe. They were tall, robust, and muscular, their bodies shaped by the harshness of the land and the demand of survival. A wave of jealousy surged within Atumba's heart. He feared that these strong young men could become a threat to his rule, especially as war was a common way of life between neighboring tribes. With cunning and deceit, Atumban devised a plan. Cloaking his envy with friendship, he proposed a sacred ritual for the Tingwe warriors, a blessing that he claimed would fortify them for the challenges ahead. Fondifon, desperate to believe in new beginnings, accepted. That night, under a sky smeared with blood-red clouds, the warriors of Tingwe, trusting and proud, stepped into the shrine, a low circular hut adorned with ancient carvings and filled with a scent of strange incense. They bowed their heads in prayer, unaware that their final moments were already written. As the sacred drums beat louder and louder, Atumban's men surrounded the hut, their faces twisted with grim resolve. Suddenly, torches were thrown into the thatched roof, flames leaped up like demons unleashed, and the air filled with the screams of young men, clawing for escape, their dreams dying with them in the choking smoke. When Fondifon realized the betrayal, a cry of pure agony tore from his throat, a sound so raw and broken that even the stars seemed to dim. Overcome with guilt, fury, and despair, he staged to the burning shrine but was held back by Atumban's guard. That night, under the indifferent gaze of the moon, Fondifon ran into the forest, took his own life. His heart shattered beyond repair. He jumped into a hole. The ground trembled, and from that place of unimaginable sorrow, a river burst forth. Its waters ran thick and dark, carrying within them the anguish of the fallen. Giant fishes swam in its depth, their silver bodies flashing like the restless souls of the lost warriors. But fate was not yet finished with the betrayals. Days later, Atumban's men, hearing of the river in the forest, went out for fishing. They cast their nets into the river. As they hurled their catch, the waters turned violent. Screams rang out as they were dragged beneath the surface, their struggle swallowed by the churning river. From the depth rose a colossal python, its emerald scales glittering like 1,000 jewels. It moved with terrifying grace, its golden eyes filled not with malice, but with ancient sorrowful wisdom. The python, sensing the grief of the Tingwei people, slithered ashore and beckoned the survivors to follow. They did, their hearts too broken to question the miracles before them. Days turned into weeks as they trailed the great serpent through forests, untouched by war and sorrow, until at last they reached a land so beautiful it seemed untouched by human hands. Rivers laughed through the valleys and trees stretched high into the heavens, offering shade and shelter. At the center of this new land stood an enormous tree, its trunk wide enough to shelter a dozen men, its leaves whispering secrets to the wind. The python coiled around it, gazed once into the eyes of the people, and then disappeared among the branches as if it had become one with the sacred tree itself. The Tingwei people fell to their knees in awe. Here they knew was their sanctuary, a gift born of suffering, a promise that life could begin anew. They carved the sacred tree into a mighty idol, not to forget their past, but to honor it, to remember their fallen king, their wise fawn, and the python who led them from despair. Under the shelter of this sacred tree, the Tingwei rebuilt their life. They crowned a new king, Afiem, a man of great strength, but also of deep kindness. Under his rule, the people of Tingwei flourished, their community thriving on principles of unity, courage, and remembrance. They learned that while betrayal can shatter the body, it cannot break the spirit. And so, in their new homeland, they lived not in fear, but in peace, forever carrying the echoes of their sorrow and the hope of brighter days. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful tales from the heart of Africa.